But what we did at the last summit in Singapore is signed the ASEAN Charter. So when ASEAN Charter is rectified, ASEAN will turn into a rule-based organization. And one of the stipulations is that all the countries must have constitutional government.
Questions?
Staying on the theme of elections, you said that Myanmar has drawn up a democratic constitution and there will be elections in 2010. However, the UN just released a report given by the special envoy that the San Suu Kyi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but she'll be prevented from running. So my two questions would be, first, can you explain why her views are so confrontational to the current regime? And second, how can Myanmar consider itself a democracy when it bars the leader of the opposition party from running?
What the newspapers are writing is that she will not be allowed to compete in the elections. So I have to turn to the constitutional provisions. Throughout the various constitutions, we have, in the constitution, we put down the qualification for elections. The 1947 constitution, as I told you, is drawn up by her father. See? So in the constitution, there's a proviso that people who are citizens of a foreign government or who have the privileges of a subject or a citizen cannot run for election. That has been retained throughout. So I have to tell you that under the election law of 1987, she was not allowed to compete in the 1990 elections.
No, I'm not sure. Is she a British subject or a
no?
Myanmar
Because
subject?
no, it was the decision of the Electoral Commission that as a permanent resident in the United Kingdom, she enjoys the privileges of the permanent residents that are given to the to permanent residents in the United Kingdom.
But now she's a permanent resident in her home.
Yeah.
Because she can't come out.
Yes. So no. And again, I have to tell you, she came there. She came to Myanmar in 1988, and the law also say that you have to have a certain number of residency in the country. So again, that provision is in the fundamental principles that are going to be put in the new constitution. So the whole constitution, including those proviso for eligibility to run in elections, will be put before a referendum. So if that is retained, it is a decision of the people. So this is, my answer to you.
But meanwhile, we'll keep her in detention at home. That way she will fulfill the residency requirement.
No, she have already, fulfilled the residency. She's been there long enough.
One more last question. Yes, sir.
First off, I would like to congratulate you on finishing the first draft of your Constitution. And after nearly 2 decades of work, I would think it would be nearly a perfect one. However, there's been a lot of criticism of the draft, one of which you touched on in the guaranteeing of military seats. If the military is doing such a good job and thus maybe well liked, why shouldn't the military be able to win seats upon its own, and why must it rely on guaranteeing itself seats?
So, in Thailand, until 10 years ago, there is that provision. And Indonesia, I think, let's say about 10 years ago, there is that provision. But I like to tell you that in the Constitution also, there is an amendment clause. And I also like to tell you that democracy has its own dynamism. So this is part of the Constitution But there is also the amendment clause. If the representative to the Loto, which is the assembly, decide to change the constitution, it will be changed.
Mr. Ambassador, may I thank you most sincerely